Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Again, I told you I want to get to 100 videos by the end of the summer. This will be my 27th video for the channel, so I got a ways to go, but I'm gonna try to keep up this pace for as long as I can, so I could at least, if not get close, at least, or better yet, to get close, actually just get all the way there, go way past 100 videos. So I'm gonna start with this story right here. It's reported by Michael. And it says, renowned baseball team, the New York Yankees, that's actually my favorite baseball team. Renowned baseball team, New York Yankees, is set to let its employees convert a portion of their paychecks to BTC holdings after striking a deal with Bitcoin-focused financial services firm New York Digital Investment Group. That, to me, is very, very interesting. That, to me, I feel is a very underrated story, because obviously that's going to definitely play a role in the future of cryptocurrency and crypto being adopted in the future. Once you're at a point where everybody is just like it becomes a regular thing that people can get paid with or can actually transact with to some degree, that's gonna be game changing. So the next thing I want to get into, and this is a story from Digital Perspective, aka Brad Kimes. It's a post from him where it says, Coinbase says the entire crypto market could be decentralized if Bitcoin's anonymous creator, or destabilized if Bitcoin's anonymous creator is ever revealed or sells their $64 billion stake. And then he also went on to say, he was tweeting somebody, he said, "We need your help. Why has there been no public disclosure of the known identities of Satoshi Nakamoto? Special agent revealed at a conference which SEC attended, acknowledging they found and interviewed all 4 of them." So that is interesting. I do believe that the government knows who did it. Who knows? The government might have even been the people actually behind it. You never know. Like, you can't rule that possibility out. Like the coding, the whatchamacallit, I don't remember if it's called, like, not the code, but the script that they use, whoever Satoshi is, him, her, or they, the script that, or code, or whatever you want to call it, that they use to create Bitcoin is the same one that the NSA uses. So that, to me, is very interesting, that this thing that we assume was created by a rogue person, like not a rogue ninja, but just like a random person, it was the same thing that the NSA is using, like a government agency. That's kind of interesting. So it's very possible that the government could have created it, or at least at minimum know who did create it. Somebody responded to Brad by saying, "Seriously, bro, what do you hope to gain by knowing his or their identity? Can you imagine when you tell us and the crypto market collapses, everybody going bankrupt? The whole world would be coming after you. There is probably a reason why the people who know didn't tell." I disagree. I don't really think it's that big of a deal especially if the government is behind it or tied to the person or people who are behind it. It's really not a big deal. Like, because at that point, they're not gonna prosecute anybody. The only way they would really try to, come after whoever, like, let's say Satoshi Nakamoto really was just some random guy living in like a basement in like Iowa or Idaho or something like that. In that case, yeah, it probably wouldn't help to reveal their identity, because they would come after him or her or whatever and lock him up. But again, there's a strong chance that the person who created Bitcoin could have strong government ties. There's a chance that the person who created Bitcoin could currently be tied to one of these projects that we know of now. I've seen people who have speculated that they believe that Charles Schwartz, the one of the founders of Ripple, they believe that he actually could be the person who did it. And if he did, that actually would explain why maybe the SEC is trying to go after him, go after Ripple and XRP, because maybe that's their way of trying to get back at them for, essentially creating something that could destabilize these government powers in society. But I don't know. Again, it's said to be seen. I don't really think it matters that much if we find out who did it. I still would like to know, but I don't know if it's like the end all be all that we need to know the answer to. But let me know what you guys think about that. Do you guys think that we should be out here, concerned about whoever is the actual creators of Bitcoin? I want to know out of curiosity. But, I don't know. Some people think that it might be a bad idea, but I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's a good or bad idea? The next post here, this is also from Brad Kimes and the other guy from before, Michael, where it says Ethereum to transition to proof of stake as of September 19th. And the person, Michael, said, "I'll believe it when I see it." And Brad responded by saying, "It's do or die time. TikTok goes the clock." Listen. Here's my opinion. September 19th is irrelevant. The ETH is not putting out 2.0 or transitioning into proof of stake. My bad. They're not gonna do not trust any date that Ethereum tells you about. Any date that they tell you about is a load of nonsense. They are not gonna make it on time. Best case scenario is Ethereum transitions to proof of stake and 2.0 comes out maybe the end of next year. Maybe. It's not happening anytime soon. Anytime they say a date, they never actually come through. So I don't trust that even the slightest. It would be nice if they did, but I just don't trust it in the slightest. I really try to, I'm at a point now, this is kind of off topic, but I'm at a point now where I'm trying to avoid certain cryptos that are ERC20 tokens. Now I do know obviously ecomi just transitioned to ERC20 token a few months ago, but unless I'm really into the project, I'm really into ecomi, unless I'm really into it, I'm trying to avoid projects that are in the Ethereum ecosystem, because again, I'm tired of paying all these fees. I'm tired of these ridiculously high gas fees just to send a transaction. I'm just tired of it. And then on top of that, it's not even fast. You gotta wait 10, 20, 30 minutes plus sometimes. I'm really tired of it. I'm really excited to just see the future of these coins that are tied to other ecosystems. I remember one time, I put up the most I ever got charged for a transaction that I actually ended up having to send, I think it was $150, and I was only trying to cash out maybe $200. So I lost most of that money, so that's extremely frustrating. I know many people here can probably relate to that. So the next story I want to get into is from XRP Crypto Wolf. It says Ripple invested in an NFT financing platform, SuperMojo. I think that's pretty interesting that Ripple, despite the fact that they've been in this lawsuit, they've continuously been out here just still making major moves. There's also an upcoming interview that the Bearable Bull is supposed to be releasing with the founders of Xpunks, which is a XRP based NFTs. So I'm really excited to see that. I'm gonna keep an eye open for that, and I'll do a video about that as well when that comes out. I know Bearable Bull already did an interview with Xpunks, but that was a private video he did just for people who were in his mentorship program, which I actually did sign up for, because I actually have made some money, a good amount of money, from going into Bearable Bull's courses. So I actually could vouch for his course that it actually is legit. Out of all the scams out there on the internet, the Bearable Bull stuff actually is legit most of the time. He's not 100% accurate, but a lot of his stuff has actually worked out a lot, way above average. Anyway, next story here is again from Michael. Actually it's from Decrypt. He was just reposting an article from Decrypt, but it says Circle claims USDC stablecoin is now fully backed by cash in U.S. treasuries. That's very interesting, of course, because USD, there's especially with the crash of Terra Luna and UST, there's so many people, including myself, who are just waiting for the downfall of Tether, not because I want Tether to fall necessarily, but because it's so clear that there's too much shady stuff going on tied to Tether that it's you gotta imagine it's just a ticking time bomb. There's no way that this can go on forever. But again, we just gotta wait and see. I personally just can't imagine it lasting too much longer, because it's just too shady. And it would, for all these Congress people and whatever who don't like Ripple, like or who don't like cryptocurrency as a whole, like that's like the ultimate excuse they could use. It just say, hey, listen, we don't like crypto because we think it's a scam, and oh, look at this, like look at Tether. Like that's what I think they're gonna do. But next thing I'm gonna get into is an article from the Daily Hodl. Yes, I say hodl. I've never liked saying hodl like that. I prefer saying hodl. But the article says Ripple survey says 85% of countries in the world will adopt this class of crypto assets within 4 years. And by this class of crypto assets, they're talking about crypto in general, but more specifically, they're just talking about CBDCs, which for the people that don't know just means central bank digital currencies. I absolutely believe that's the case. Listen, I've seen articles over the past years that said the Jamaica's working on a CBDC, the Bahamas is working on a CBDC, China's working on a CBDC. Obviously, whether America wants to admit it or not, they're probably working on the CBDC, or they could just adopt Circle and just make Circle like their CBDC. Like Russia, especially with all that's going on with Russia right now, they're definitely behind the scenes working on the CBDC. Like that's clearly just the future. So it is what it is. It's just a matter of how's it gonna work out and how's it gonna affect us as regular people, and how can we also make money from the future and potential of crypto. I want to go on a quick rant, not a rant, but a quick a tangent about that, because a lot of people, they still don't believe in crypto, and they still don't believe in things related to crypto like NFTs. And again, it's not all about if you understand it. It's about you trying to look at the potential of the technology and saying, okay, could this be something powerful in the future? And the answer is yes. The obvious answer is yes. Even when you speak about like NFTs, like when you look at NFTs, a lot of people, they're just trying to, they're still stuck on like the pictures of like these monkeys or whatever, like the Bored Apes, and they're like, oh, it's just a JPEG. You could save it to your computer with just right clicking, and they're taking all these little shots, because a lot of people still don't believe in, even beyond NFTs, they just don't believe in crypto. And you got to realize, for people like us, you got to understand that this is our version of being like early on like the internet. So like decades ago, when people were on the internet, or people were trying to get into the internet, people never thought it would last. They said it was a fad. They said, oh, why would I order something online when I could just go to the store? Now look, everything, the 90% of the things people buy, they just order it online. They say, oh, why would I try to meet somebody in a chat room or on a website when I could just go meet people in real life? Now most of the people in the world, they're only meeting people online. Like the world has dramatically shifted, because a lot of people, they didn't have the vision to see what the internet could be. They didn't have the vision to see what the technology could lead to. They weren't thinking long term. And that's what I feel is happening with crypto, and also just with NFTs in general. It's just like a lot of people, they're not thinking long term about what the potential here is. And they're just, because they don't like it, they're just saying, oh, it's not going to work, it's this, is that. And they feel justified whenever crypto has a crash. It's similar to when the .com bubble burst back in the 2000s, and a bunch of coins, a bunch of stocks related to those .com websites, like they crashed. And a lot of people who thought the internet was a fad, they felt vindicated in that moment. But in the long term, who was really vindicated? Exactly. Now look, they called the internet a fad, but guess what? The internet's now a part of everybody's everyday life. People are walking around with computers in their pockets now. Like your cell phone is just a really tiny computer. Yeah, come on. People walk around with computers in their book bags. A lot of people have laptops in their book bags that they carry every day. And I think that's going to be similar for how things are going to play out with crypto and with NFTs. Like people, they're not focusing enough on the potential of the technology. They're just focusing on, number one, the fact that they don't want to change. And then number two, they're just focusing on what they think. Oh, they're focusing on how limited they think it is, even though it has much more potential than what they care to admit. So the next story I want to get into, this is going to be like related to ecomi. I'm going to get back into covering ecomi videos, of course. I've been going for a minute, but again, I'm still holding ecomi. I'm still in VEVE. I never sold my VEVE, my collectibles yet. I could have, because at one point At one point, the collectibles I had were worth like a couple thousand, but you know, again, I'm not gonna cash them out just yet. I haven't even activated the cash out feature. I don't think I'm one of the people who has that option yet. But again, we'll see. So I wanted to throw in a video here. This is a video from, I first saw it on Cavell Anderson's page, but it's actually like a video from a channel called VEVE Magic. She covers a lot about VEVE. She's very big into collectibles and Disney and stuff. But you know, like, so I think it was very interesting that in this video, in this interview, David Yu, you know, he talks about, you know, making these NFTs on VEVE interoperable, you know, on different platforms, and also creating NFT games. So I'm really excited to see that. So I also would like to add like a clip that I'm gonna end this video with, just of him and VEVE Magic talking about, you know, just talking about just that, just making VEVE interoperable and the future and what it could bring.
In 4 or 5 years. So some of the technology we're embedding into what we're doing now, it's also about future proofing it. And these digital assets, how they're going to interact in the future, whether in games. You know, we talked many times in our earlier AMA, is that our vision of the whole, where the world is, and these digital assets is they will be interactive, they be interruptible, they have a lot more. I mean, our dreams are never going to stop beyond that, and the afterlife of these things. So we've got a lot more we're focusing on, and then, you know, we're going to get onto these things.